All right, everyone, welcome back. Another edition of Behind the Beat here on the YouTube channel. Definitely excited to be back highlighting another great song that I worked on this year in 2023 by my good friend Mike Dantz. This track is called Can't Believe. A little backstory. I met Mike through Instagram probably in 2019, maybe early 2020. So, like around the time of the pandemic, I was meeting a lot of artists at this time. We worked on a song called Clear to Me on his first album, Back on Track, which is still one of my favorite records I've been a part of. Definitely was a cool time. And from there, I sent him probably hundreds, if not thousands, of beats over the last like 2 or 3 years. He's been working on a lot of music that I've sent him really since the spring of 2022. He's recorded a lot of songs. I think this was one of the first ones he probably recorded during these sessions while he's working on, new music, things like that. And luckily enough, this one was able to see the light of day in the spring of this year. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. Um, Another song that I brought the stems over from the old laptop. So what you're seeing here is everything brought over from the old computer. So I won't be able to do like a super in-depth breakdown, but I can at least highlight these different sounds and just kind of show you guys what went into it. This is definitely more of a simple beat. If I had to take a guess, I don't remember making this specifically or the day or anything, but looks like it was pretty simple. Probably something I made in like 20 to 30 minutes. Another cool fact is I made a song that also came out around the same time this year for an Oklahoma City artist named Warren Mothershed called Growth is Hard. And that song was made the same week as this song. I actually made a post about that earlier in the year on Instagram about how that was kind of coincidental. Just goes to show, you make these songs, you make so many beats. For me, it's like 2 to 3 ideas a day usually. You just don't know where these things are going to end up and when they're going to, come out. Because I made this in 2021, made that song as well in 2021. And, here we are, we're almost at 2024 talking about it as a release. But I've had songs even older still haven't come out. So you just never know, just always got to put these ideas into play. But I will do this breakdown here. This track called Can't Believe by Mike Dantz. To start off, the first one we got here is this 808. I could tell from hearing this 808 that it was probably from the Wonder Girl pack that I had on my old laptop. Wonder Girl, obviously renowned producer, incredible producer. She actually had a drum kit in like 2017 that came out, and it was probably the first drum kit that I bought because everything in it was just super punchy, super hard, and I could just take like the 808s in and manipulate them in my own way. So I'm pretty sure that's what I did with this one. So I'll let you hear the variation, and within the track itself as the full thing, you might not be able to hear it, but it definitely adds a little bit of punch to the undertone of the song. So here it is. So it's pretty much the same tone. I think there's one little variation in there just to kind of change it up. So like when I do use 808s, that's kind of what I do is I'll just bring, I'll bring it into the effector and I'll just chop it up a little bit and mess with it. And just make sure that it's in key as well, because that always helps a lot. But for this, it definitely wasn't a driving factor of the song. You can see it's pretty much primarily throughout, as opposed to the little breaks and including the intro. It's not in the intro either, but it kind of just adds a little bit of extra to it. The drums, however, they're definitely more of old school style drums. And I think I just sped these up a little bit. I don't think I really messed with these too much. Maybe I darkened the tone a little bit too compared to what it was originally, but it's just a pretty simple break that I put in there, and it really just carries the whole track. So here's that. And it just kind of repeats, does its thing. There's obviously like a little symbol in there, things to kind of let you know that we're transitioning to different parts of the song. Um, and because it's a break, everything is able to drop out together. That's something I started doing, is using more drum breaks, because I didn't use a lot of drum breaks when I first started. But I do like how you're able to kind of just manipulate them into the beat any way you want, and you can kind of drop everything out all at once as well, which I think is super cool. The main part of this song, as far as the leads go, is the keys. And the keys, I know for sure what I do with a lot of samples, I will just bring them into Slice X, which is in FL Studio, and I'll just chop it up. Um, Usually I'll change the key if I feel like getting a little bit creative with it. Um, just kind of make a new something new out of it. And this, like I said, it's a 139 BPM. I think I just sped this up and kind of just went for it and had it carry throughout the entire record for the most part. So here is what that sounds like soloed out. And it's pretty much just that repeating. So that's your simple 8-bar loop. It just kind of goes throughout. And I can hear reverb on there for sure. Like I said, if I had the initial session, I could break down every single effect that was on this thing. I'm kind of just taking guesses as to what I did based on the workflow that I know that I have. But I can definitely hear some reverb on there. Probably just chopped it up into like 4 or 5 different parts and just, created something new out of it. That's kind of the cool thing about doing that. And if I hear a good lead, that's usually always what I try to do. Um, just make it go from there. So I only had 2 more sounds in this beat. The one that comes in the chorus, it's kind of this weird, I don't want to call it like a chime, but it's kind of just a weird little bells or keys or something, some type of variation of a synth that I put in here. And again, you might not be able to hear it a ton during the actual record, but it definitely adds another layer to it. So here's that. And it's actually just that same one repeated 4 times. I added a delay on there for sure because I can hear that. It's almost in a different key than the rest, but it definitely adds kind of an eerie effect to it. I feel like this beat had some very eerie tones on it too, which I do like to play around with a lot. So I think that was kind of cool to add in there. Who knows what I was thinking when I put that in there? Maybe just wanted to add a little bit of layer to it. But once you get to the pre-chorus and the chorus, you can definitely hear these synth pads that I added in. As you can see, they're one of the more prominent features in this whole record. So soloed out, they do sound pretty awesome. So here they are. So again, no real variation there, but they do their job within the actual beat itself. Sometimes just keeping it simpler is the real way to go. I feel like that is what I definitely tried to do with this one. So I'll definitely play what all this sounds like together, because I really think the marriage between everything made it all make sense at the end. And it's one of those ones where the mix kind of has to be the right way. And I do feel like the final version came out really good. I had to drag these stems in before I made this video and rough mix it again and just kind of get it where I think it was at the beginning. But there's some elements that kind of are clashing. But when you hear the final song, when you hear what Mike and his engineer put together, I think it came out super cool. Um, and it is a weird beat. Like it's there's some things in there that you're just like it's kind of unorthodox, kind of weird. Um, but that's I think that's what I like to do the most is kind of challenge myself to make these sounds fit in that other people might not be thinking about or they might not think, complements the other elements, but I like to take things from even different genres and just kind of put them in together and see what I come up with. And fortunately, this one worked out. It's just like I said earlier, you never know, what is going to happen with these beats you're making. You just gotta make them, put them out, and as long as the right artist gets a hold of it, they're going to turn it into something incredible. And I don't believe I had to touch this song either from, its original version. I think it's still the same one that I made at the beginning. I don't think we added anything to it or took anything away from it. I think it was just how it was. He just ended up using it. I remember it was on an Instagram live or maybe an Instagram post. He posted while he was recording this one and a couple others too that haven't come out yet, but time will tell, to see if those end up dropping eventually. And, I definitely happy to be working with Mike still. Definitely check out the rest of his music as well. I'll link this song in the description. Um, and that was the beat breakdown for Can't Believe by Mike Dantz. Pretty simple one. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, if I had the full session, could have went into more of the effects. Had to take a guess, but when you've been doing the same type of routine for a while too, I think you kind of know like what you did. You can kind of retrace your steps a little bit. So I think that's more of what this one was all about. But I think you guys will love what he did lyrically on the final version as well. So definitely check that out. And we will be back for another one of these next month in December to close out the year. Don't know which one I'm going to do yet. We'll see. As always, definitely check out the podcast, Proven Knowledge Podcast. It will be linked in the description. Once again, welcome to all the new subscribers. If you're an artist, producer, or a fan of the show, or you're a fan of my beats, you're a fan of any of that stuff, welcome. Expect a lot more of these types of videos coming up soon. And, just stay tuned for more new content here on YouTube and on all my other socials too. So, and reach out if you want to be on the Proven Knowledge Podcast as well. Looking for a lot of new guests for 2024. If you're an artist, producer, you do anything in the music industry, reach out to me. I'd love to have a chat with you and get to know you more, and hopefully we can keep working from there. So, but until then, I definitely appreciate you guys as always for checking this out. Like I said, we'll be back next month with a new one. So until then, thanks as always for watching.